The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of January 26th, 2026. We'll call it to order. Up first, no presentations. Motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Councillor Valizer, second by Councillor Veroba. Questions, comments? Seeing none. All in favor? Carried. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of January 12th, 2026? Councillor Mouse, Councillor Elliott, any questions, comments, all in favor? All right, original communications, delegations, and petition. The Southeast Transportation Planning Committee. We have an invoice. Do we have a motion to approve to stay on the board? Councillor Johnson?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Veroba. Any questions, comments out there? Seeing none, everything's going well with it, Councillor Johnson?
Appears to be. We have a lot of good dialogue, a lot of good comments about our roads and possible new infrastructure that's needed in the province and which ones are going to be worked on next. We also have a meeting tomorrow in Carlisle, I should mention. So if there's anything that comes to mind from any of buddy on council or yourself, then I can take that to the meeting tomorrow and talk it over with them.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Any more questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Pay 'em. Up next is the Hudson Bay Route Association. Everybody should send in invoices here at the beginning of the year. Do we have a motion to accept this? Councillor Valizer, second by Councillor Veroba. Questions, comments out there about this one? Seeing Councillor Veroba?
I was just going to say, I said it before the meeting, so I'll say it on camera, is that we've been paying this since at least 2016 when I started on council, and I'm very happy that we're continuing to pay this because especially with the changes that are happening, it's good.
Yes, seems to be some action going on up there to get another port to Tidewater, so fingers crossed. Any more questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. GFL report for December 2025. Do we have a motion to approve GFL report? Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Mouse. Questions, comments, GFL, all in favor? Carried. Western Municipal Consulting appointment of Board of Revision. City Clerk, can you help us out with this one? Just give us a little.
I can always defer to the treasurer.
Oh. City Treasurer.
Yes, each year, as per subsection 192(1) of the Cities Act, it's a requirement that the City of Estevan make an appointment to the Board of Revision.
Okay. Do we have an appoint? Who's the appointee now? Or City Treasurer?
It's Western Municipal Consulting.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve? Councillor Valizer, seconded by Councillor Veroba. Any questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Up next, executive report, City Manager, 2026-2028 strategic plan.
Thank you, Your Worship. So for the last month, we've had our strategic plan and our budget document out for public feedback. There was some councillors and myself attended the Chamber Coffee Talk on January 7th to present the budget and talk about some highlights. As well, there was a public open house at the Tech Hub on January 15th. So no formal written feedback was submitted, but there's a summary in the report about some feedback that was discussed at the Chamber Coffee Talk event. So there was a discussion about policing costs and how much is funded for those positions. And was also discussion about infrastructure planning and multi-year budgeting for some of those infrastructure projects. So that was a good discussion at the Chamber Coffee Talk. At the open house, there was some discussion about the strategic plan and how it's going to be implemented, focusing on some monitoring and measurement and how it's going to be reported to the public. So all those questions were addressed. There will be a year-end report identifying the strategic goals and how council administration fared in completing those goals. So as we move through that process, the public will hear more and more on that. So overall feedback was based on policing and infrastructure and measurements and monitoring of the strategic plan. So no formal submissions were received by myself or the city clerk, so we're asking for a council motion to move forward and implement the budget and the strategic plan as presented.
Excellent, thanks for that. Do we have a motion to accept? Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Verova. Any questions, comments out there? Councillor Johnson?
So, City Manager, so to me it looks like we have two items here. Should we have two approvals, two motions?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Johnson. So if we get a motion to approve the budget and then a motion to approve the strategic plan separately, the report was combined.
Okay, so there's going to be two motions. Okay, thank you.
Yep, one for the strategic plan, which we had a seconder. Councillor Leeser, did you have a question, comment?
Later in today's agenda, there is a budgetary item being addressed. Will that impact our approval of the budget tonight, or that cost can be covered in the existing budget?
Thank you, Councillor Leeser. We've identified that cost can be covered in the current budget.
Thank you.
All right, Councillor Verova?
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Councillor, or City Manager, and the staff and the management, because they helped a lot with the strategic plan by also simplifying it. And I think it was really good for people to be able to read through, see the bold points, and actually be able to say, okay, this is what we're doing, this is excellent. And then I think that's why at Coffee Talk we did have some feedback, but not a lot, because of the fact that it is so easy to read and it's a lot of clear-cut strategies. So it's very good. Thank you.
Excellent, thanks for that. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none. All in favor? Carried. Up next, city budget. Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you, Worship. So that was mentioned in the previous report, kind of summarizing those budget open houses. Again, just some stuff about police cost and infrastructure, but no formal feedback was received. So we just need a motion to move forward with the budget as presented.
Excellent. So yeah, as we look ahead to 2026, I want to thank residents, businesses, and community partners for their continued support and involvement. Together, you've helped make Estevan a strong and vibrant hub in southeast Saskatchewan. And the process we've achieved in 2025 is reflected in the 2026 budget. This past year brought real visible improvements across our city. Downtown was completed and is bringing new energy and creating more welcoming city core. Hillside Park saw important upgrades with the new paddling pool alongside the addition of a new building. 2026, another community building effort was the addition of the permanent arena boards at the Rusty Deuce Park, benefiting year-round activities, and there was many more. These projects were made possible through a strong community collaboration, and the 2026 budget builds on that momentum and reflects our shared priorities of growth, livability, and long-term value. On behalf of City and Council and the municipal team, thank you for your continued trust, and let's keep working together to make Estevan a great place to call home. Did you want to? Okay. Motion to approve the 2026 budget. Councillor Waleser, seconded by Councillor Mouse. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. There we go. Water Services Manager, water tower break. Come on up to the microphone and tell us all about the big water break.
Thank you, Your Worship. So on, I don't remember, January 9th, 2026, we had a catastrophic failure of the 12-inch transmission line that feeds from the water treatment plant up to the water reservoir, so the water tower and the underground reservoir. We had it shut and closed in by believe it was 2:20 p.m. that day, and we were able to sustain water pressure throughout the whole south end of the city. So for those that don't know, the water tower and the Smith Street Reservoir pressurized the south side of the tracks. The north side of the tracks is done by Wellick Reservoir, so we were able to keep things above about 13 psi, which was satisfactory for the Water Security Agency. We did go out and fulfill some tests around the south end of the city after everything was closed off, and made sure that we were still maintained our total chlorine in the south side of the city. So everything was good on that aspect. Once we did dig down, we did find that it was a horizontal crack in a bell on old PVC pipe from 1989 when it was installed, and that it had blown out the seal, which was allowed to release about 400 liters a second. So we lost about 4.1 million liters in the 3 hours that it was leaking. So we did replace that section of pipe, and also put in a new valve just beside the old valve that was there, because the old valve was from 1989. And when we do the Smith upgrade, that will be one of the valves we're functioning. So it was kind of the right time to throw in a new valve and make sure that we were good to go for Smith upgrade this coming fall. So there is still a remaining 20 meters of that PVC pipe that is currently still on the ground from where we left off to the Smith building. And in my report, I recommended that it's something we should be looking at replacing when Smith Reservoir is down this coming fall, and get that extra 20 meters completed and done so that it's up to the same pipe grade that we're currently using, because this is a lower grade that's in there from 1989. So.
Okay, excellent. There's another recommendation of pressure reducing valve in there as well.
Yes, Your Worship. So we did find that when we were trying to bypass water at the water plant, because the water plant just creates too much water, the lowest it can go is about 75 liters a second. And with Wellick only being able to take about 65 liters a second, we were trying to find a way to try and bypass things at the water plant. We did find that the pressure relief valve at the water plant wasn't operating properly, so we had to dismantle it, take it all apart, and take all the guts out of it, and basically just bypass water. So we were looping water at the water plant to try and slow things down during the nighttime.
Okay, excellent. Do we have a motion to approve? This Councilor Veroba, seconded by Councilor Johnson. Any more questions, comments out there? Councilor Veroba?
I just want to say thank you to your staff, because you guys did an amazing job. There was a lot of people that were calling in, they were scared for their homes, they were scared for flooding. Could have been a much bigger disaster, but yeah, you mediated it well and you took care of business, so thank you very much. It was very much appreciated.
Councilor Mouse, did you have? That was exactly the same. Perfect. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none. Oh, Councilor Valizer? Sorry. Then Councilor Johnson.
With the replacement of this 35-year-old pipe, what is the expected lifespan of the new pipe?
Through your worship, thank you, Councillor Wellizer. So I think the new pipe grade that we use, I believe it's either 50 or 100 year, but I'm pretty sure it's 100 year.
Okay, excellent. Councilor Johnson?
And I would just like to echo our comments from all of us on council. It was a super job that your crew did, and I really appreciate it, Matt. I drove by there a number of times, and I seen the amount of ice and the amount of water that was pooling and going over to the park, going down the street, opening all those drains so we can get rid of the water and drop that level down. Bringing in the contractors too on this job. They helped out also. So I'd like to thank those local contractors for helping us out in a pinch, because it was the weekend, right? About the only thing we had going for us was the weather. I mean, that was it. If it would have happened in this cold snap, we would have been really hooped. But you guys managed, and you handled the job really well. You found where the problem was, where it lied, and all these recommendations that are going to help us this fall. So when we go into that Smith Street and all those changes, we'll have some more information to help us along. So very good work. Thank you, crew. Thanks for everything that you guys have taken on to fix the problem and help us out. Good work.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Seeing none. Motion to approve. Carried. I didn't see it. He's good. Thank you for that, Matt. No water services, parks manager, FCM. We need a resolution for FCM grant application for the urban tree asset inventory and canopy management plan. Whereas the city of Estevan has the following interests: tree inventory, canopy cover, and planting space analysis. Where Green Drop Trees is undertaking the urban tree asset inventory and canopy management plan, city of Estevan. Be it resolved that the city of Estevan City Council acknowledges that Green Drop Trees is applying for a funding opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, Growing Canada's Community. Shannon, anything to add to that?
No, this is just they're just gonna look at our tree inventory.
Oh, sorry. They're just going to look at our tree inventory and a bunch of our trees, and it's something that I think is very warranted with the city, as we've never done anything like this. So I thought this was a great plan to get some money to actually do this.
Great, excellent. Thanks for that. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution? Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Leeser. Any other questions, comments out there? Councillor Leeser?
Thank you, Your Worship. I know members of the community are curious about the emphasis on trees and tree planting, and I think as you drive through our community, you can see that there is an existing disparity already, and knowing that even the sight of a tree out your window has a statistical benefit on your mental health as well as your physical health. It's important that we continue to move forward in both maintaining these assets, but also building out our canopy moving forward.
Thank you for that. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. You got her. What do we have next? Introduction of bylaws. Come on up, Richard. Can you take us through these bylaws and reasonings, please, Richard?
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. Okay, the first one is Planning Services Bylaw. I believe Council just in the last month updated the general services bylaw for fees and what have you, but my department's special. It works under different legislation, so some of the fees are in a separate bylaw, particularly only to my division for planning, subdivision development, that kind of thing. So I was looking at an update here this year. No increases, all right. But what I was looking at doing was, if you look through the proposed bylaw, on number 1, the thing there that's in red, that's home-based business class 1 relocation, that was derived from a motion that was made from council, the previous council. And what it was if you had a home-based business that had the type that doesn't have clients coming in the door and they've been operating for a year, and then all of a sudden they relocate to another home, that they would get a discount on both their business licensing and their development permit costs, because those two things are tied to the land, right? So this would just incorporate it formally into the bylaw. The next one that's in red there, that is, you would have encountered an almost identical wording in a recent bylaw for business license fees, and that is to have that tie in as well with economic development if there's a priority land use that you would like to adjust the fees on to encourage growth or compliance or to people to buy in, what have you. Council can do that. And that's it. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions out there on this? Seeing none, we have a motion to approve. Sending this to first reading with amendments. Councillor Mouse, second by Councillor Johnson. No more questions, comments out there, all in favor? There we go, that was for 2026-2105 and 2026-2106 zoning bylaw amendment.
Thank you again, Your Worship. For this, every year, typically, I look at things that I find in the zoning bylaw which have come to light. Maybe sometimes an error, sometimes typo, sometimes it's an issue that happened during the year that we can maybe better address in the bylaw. We didn't do it last year because you folks were in election mode, so it's up here again this year. One is gross floor area, the first one, and I got this idea from City Saskatoon actually when I was perusing their bylaw recently. They have a section in there where if you have the raised basement and over half of the basement is above grade level, then 50% of that area could be included as part of the floor area for the house. So when we approve a house under a development permit, for example, it has to have a minimum floor area in most areas. It's either 1,000, sometimes it's 900, and some, if it's multi-dwelling, that kind of thing. This would allow for potentially a smaller, more affordable house, but while still meeting that threshold for the floor area. The other benefit of it is when I first moved here in 2018, one of the things that came to my mind was the flooding that happened in 2016. And just looking some of the videos on YouTube, and having lived in areas that got flooded previous in my career, I'm not a real big fan of houses with window well in the basement. If you can have them raised a little bit above ground, you're gaining a little bit more freeboard there, so that if you do get a storm flood or what have you, maybe the flooding won't be as severe. So this actually would incentivize that if this were to be passed. The next one, accessory buildings, doing some clarifications there. We had it where something like a garage, if the doors were perpendicular to the laneway, the garage could be a lot closer to the laneway property line. But if it was a tool shed or a greenhouse, that didn't apply. And to me, that just didn't make sense. So I have an amendment proposed there to take care of that. Another one is related to pollution management, and yes, excessive lighting into your neighbor's yard can be regarded as pollution. So I have a proposal in this case where if you have a yard light on your commercial business, that the light that it's shining should be contained as well as possible, as reasonably possible, to the commercial property that it's subject to. As with every other thing, this bylaw, if it's passed, would apply to things going forward. Anything that was legal in the past is grandfathered. Another one is setback on curves. This came up with a house that was built a couple years ago, I guess, in Hawke's Bay, but it would apply to any kind of cul-de-sac. When you have a curve on your front yard and you have a front yard setback for the house and the garage, you run into a bit of a problem because your setback on the sides of the lot are going to be a lot greater than on the interior curve. So what this does is allow the development department to average that setback out, and if it looks reasonable and compliance, then we can still consider approval of it. Section 815, home-based business, that's for your vehicle that you use in your home-based business. I had the correct metric. I did not have the correct pounds there. So it should not have been 26,000 pounds. It should have been 19,000 pounds for the vehicle. Loading and parking, I figured this would be a good time to consider putting something in there. For residential parking stalls, if a certain number of them are EV stalls, that is fine, provided, that is your parking stall. If it's a shared communal stall where you're only in there for as long as you charge and then you have to vacate, then maybe have to be in addition to your normal allocation. And it also deals with EV charging parking spaces in commercial areas as well. Then the the arterial commercial district. This is related to a certain extent to a long-term care facility. That property is currently zoned to a commercial district, the arterial one. It has been for a long time now. It's under our official community plan. It's also zoned for commercial. So rather than run into the problem of having to do a long-term land use plan prior to considering approval of a long-term care facility, we just add this kind of use into the district as discretionary use, which means council will give approval to it. And then we don't have to do all that stuff. And the long-term care facility is not going to be held up by us dealing with community planning or what have you. And then a couple provisions for the signs. One, and I got this, if you remember during COVID, there were some complaints at one point. I think it was a sign by the Grasshopper related to wearing masks and whether that was a healthy thing or not. People, you're nodding, you remember. So this one, I got this idea actually from Pattison, and they said, if your sign isn't related to a business, it's advocating a point of view, that's great. But if your sign's on public land, not private, because we have charter rights and freedoms, but if it's on public land, maybe there's certain signage content that we would think that would be inappropriate to be in a certain place. For example, a funeral home sign right at the entrance to the hospital might not be appreciated by people that are in terminal care, just as one example. So that would give us a little bit of authority if the sign's on public land to maybe encourage a different location. And finally, a couple explanation notes dealing with home-based daycares to try and address some of the issues brought up by Ms. Rebecca Ford, previous council meeting. With that, if there's any questions, council?
Councilor Proba?
Thank you, Richard, for coming in tonight. The pollution management one with yard light, a few years back, we had somebody come in to discuss with a camera pointing in too much into the neighbor's yard. Do we have anything when you talk about yard lights that we could add in there about cameras too, or is that kind of?
The bylaw as written doesn't deal with cameras, like motion cameras, that kind of thing.
I was just curious because we had lights.
What I can do is discuss this with city bylaw and have a discussion as to if this is an issue, what would be the more appropriate bylaw to put it in. Definitely the city nuisance bylaw is a much easier tool to use for enforcement. Zoning bylaw, your first step to enforce anything is to go through the courts if you don't get cooperative compliance. But definitely we can look into that and I can report back to city manager with recommendations.
Yeah, because to me it's similar to a yard light, right? If the yard light is going into someone else's yard, I guess you're bothering them, but that was the complaint that was somebody's perceived where their camera was going, so.
Yeah, definitely the light portion of the camera definitely could be done, I believe. The camera itself, that's another matter I'd have to do more research on.
Yeah, just be interesting. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Councilor Dubowski?
1 second, Matt.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Worship, and I hope I am understanding this correctly about the amendment to going from detached garage to accessory building. Would that have any effect with lots that might have an accessory building not within this new wording? Is there any effect on that, or like, do we know if there would be any, I guess, buildings that would be in there that would have to be changed or something? Like, how does this, new wording affect, existing buildings?
Thank you, Your Worship, to Councillor, through to Councillor Dubowski. The new wording would actually allow for non-garage accessory buildings to be located closer to the property line than would be allowed right now, at least to the rear property line. It would allow an accessory building that wasn't a garage to be the same property line on the side yards and the rear yards fronting an alleyway. So it's consistent that way. If the accessory building is on skids or movable, we don't generally take an issue with it, because if it's too close, we can always ask the landowner to move it slightly out of the way. Anything else, we deal on a complaint only. Generally, we don't have complaints about accessory buildings. It's quite rare. Hope that answers.
Okay.
Yep, thanks.
Do we have a motion to send bylaw 2026-2106 to first reading for the amendments? Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Mouse. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none. All in favor? Off to first reading. Thank you, Richard. That's it. We're on inquiries already. Councillor Veroba.
Thank you, Your Worship. So I've had multiple compliments on our snow removal program. Compared to other cities, people are just amazed every time they come to our city at how great we have all the streets, not just our main ones. And it really shows when someone goes away to another city and then comes back. So I even had one lady phone me from a wedding in downtown Saskatoon just to tell me how wonderful it was. And so yeah, that was good. The other thing is I've had a few phone calls regarding the province announcing that they're changing the way they're looking at building our new nursing home. Even the proposed location is up for grabs right now, and we had a sod turning ceremony back just before the last provincial election. And so, yeah, they're putting out an RFP to seek a third party to build it. I just keep saying hopefully within 60 days we have more information. So right now as a city, as far as I'm concerned, as a councillor, I don't have any more information, but I'm hoping that they have reason to believe that this third party will be the better way to get our nursing home built quickly and efficiently. But from what I've read, they're also going to expect it to have the same standards as our existing nursing home and our existing long-term care. But there's a lot of questions out there, and one of them is whether or not the people currently working at our nursing home will also be allowed to be transferred over with their current union, everything else, to the new nursing home. So those are some questions I would hope that possibly if we continue to get the calls, that we can somehow, after the 60 days or even sooner, maybe Lori Carr could help us answer some of those. Because there's some people that are rightfully so very concerned right now about their jobs.
For sure. No, we can, as we learn more, as we keep going here, we'll definitely keep everybody informed and keep it in the loop. It's a very big project, or a big deal, if you will, for our city, so we definitely will stay on top of it.
Yeah, another big part too is also where the money goes that was donated and also that the city collected. So that's something, again, nobody's going to make any comments on until the 60 days or longer, until we have more information, definitely. But there's a lot of misinformation going around, so it's just nice if we even, if we can't answer the questions, if we can at least compile them so that when we do talk with the province, that we can have answers for people.
There's a lot of explaining to do.
Yes.
So, excellent, thanks
Thank
for
you.
that. Good, Councillor Mouse? Councillor Elliott?
Just enjoying the heat wave, Your Worship.
It's like twice as hot out there today than it was yesterday. City Treasurer?
Nothing, Your Worship.
Councillor Dubowski?
Just a quick note about the community event last week. It was just nice to see so many people that showed up for that again on, middle of January. Not a great day, but it was cold. But yeah, it was just another great event, and nice to see the community out and go to nice events like that.
You betcha. Sounds good. Councillor Johnson?
Just a couple mentions, or if you want to call them inquiries, so be it. We have the Estevan Public Librarian, who has been with us for a long time. Richard, he's taken another job out in Ontario as a librarian. So we put the call out, and there's been a new librarian for the Estevan Public Library in Estevan hired. And I've met her. She's a very nice lady. She's from Moose Jaw, but she's our new Estevan branch manager for the Estevan Public Library. So I'd welcome everyone from council to stop in and, to have a chat with her and welcome her to the community. That's great. Okay. Also, I'd like to thank Kingston Midstream and Tundra Oil Company. There's been a lot of big donations coming to Estevan and to some of the local businesses that, like the Royal Canadian Legion. I see there was a big donation there from Kingston Midstream, $100,000 for their roof. And also there was some donation for the rink over at Rusty Deuce there to the Lions Club from Tundra Oil Company, $20,000. That's huge. I've been kind of really astounded by some of these donations that I do see coming into these organizations from these local companies, and I'd like to thank them personally for all of those donations, because it really helps out the community and it helps out those organizations tremendously. So really total kindness from those donations that is well needed in our community for those organizations. So thank you very much. Yeah. And well received. So those are my two inquiries and mentions this evening, and that's basically it. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for that. Councillor Leeser.
Thank you, Your Worship. Wanted to draw attention to the Estevan Humane Society's Whiskers and Wine Gala coming up the first weekend in February. Tickets are still available if you want to reach out to a board member or the Humane Society itself. Also to note that a date has been set for citywide registration, which really has grown over the past couple of years to now include not only sports organizations for youth, but also community groups and social clubs. So it's an excellent spot for people to find others with shared interests and meet new members of our community. If somebody has an organization they want to register, they can reach out to Leisure Services by March 6th.
Excellent. Thank you for that. City Manager?
Nothing to add, Your Worship.
City Clerk?
Nothing, Your Worship.
Yeah, I just had a few thank yous as well. A couple have been mentioned already. Thank you to the Wellness Committee for the evening with Tyler Smith. It was great. And Kingston Midstream and Tundra, I echo Councillor Johnson's comments. Like, that's amazing. I think they probably doled out about $150,000 in 1 week. I mean, that's amazing stuff right there. And then obviously thank you to the people still donating to the MRI project. I think there was another 100 and some thousand donated to that. So hats off to everybody donating, getting out there, making our city great. So do we have a motion to go to committee? Councillor Verova, Councillor Johnson, all in favor? We are in committee.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today